Ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays and welcome in to my top 10 best bets for this upcoming college football week number 12. 2 weeks of the regular season left. It's getting down to it. I've got some great bets. These bets, a lot of time went into these. I've been thinking, it's like every week I keep missing games. Like I know what's going to happen. Just visualize it, So this week I've really put time into this. I'm thinking about these games. I'm thinking what's going to happen. These are some absolute winners. I'm telling you guys right now. Just some quick housekeeping things. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, link to that's always in the description. And then my Q&A video will probably be coming out on a Thursday. I got some questions to answer for that, so probably Thursday. We'll see. I got to do a lot of this college football stuff with predictions. So let's get right into it. My first bet, Memphis at Houston, the over 60.5. I think this game's on Friday. Both of these teams really good on offense, not great on defense. 60.5. Last week I did have the over in the Houston game. It didn't hit. I'm expecting it to hit this week. You got to balance things out. The Houston-Memphis over, again, really good offenses, not great defenses. You're looking at something like 44-30, a game like that. I think Houston's about a 10-point favorite over Memphis, but give me just the over straight up, 60.5. That game, again, I believe is on Friday. Number 2, Nevada -2 versus Air Force. I have a lot of respect for Air Force. Let me just say that, but Nevada due for a big performance. This is another game on Friday night. 2 points, I think they can cover that. I think Carson Strong is going to be very motivated to put out more good performances. We know he's one of the current top draft prospects when it comes to the 2022 NFL draft, one of the top quarterback prospects. Nevada, good team. They lose last week. I thought they had a chance to upset, I think it was San Diego State. Didn't end up happening, and I do have respect for Air Force. They're the best Naval Academy team, but give me Nevada. They'll be able to cover the 2 points at home fairly easily. Moving on to the Saturday games, Ohio State -19 versus Michigan State. This is a noon game on ABC. And this is just one of those games. Number one, I'm sure people are really surprised that a team is favored by 19 points over like the 7th ranked team in the nation, because Michigan State right now is number 7. This is a 4v7 matchup where one team is favored by 19 over the other. The reason for that, this is just a terrible matchup for Michigan State. They give up the most passing yards in college football. They get no pressure on the quarterback. The one thing that CJ Stroud struggles with is pressure, dealing with pressure. If he faces none of it, he's got Chris Olave, he's got Justin Smith-Njigba, he's got Garrett Wilson. You're talking about one of the worst secondaries in college football for Michigan State. It's going to be very tough for Michigan State to keep this game within 19. I will say Ohio State's defense is a real work in progress. I'm guessing they're just going to try and completely eliminate Kenneth Walker and make Peyton Thorne beat them. Peyton Thorne's had a nice season. Michigan State has good receivers, but overall, if you're talking about Ohio State dropping another 50-burger, Michigan State, are they going to score enough to cover that 19 points? I don't think they are. This game's in Columbus again. Number 4, Wake Forest +3.5 at Clemson. If Vegas wants to give us free money, let's just take it. All right, now, the cynic in me would say, well, Clemson, they have more talent. They can play up to their potential. They have a really good defense. No. We're at the point in the season, there's 2 weeks left. Clemson has a bad offense. I don't care that they have a 5-star quarterback. Their offense is bad. I've seen enough at this point to say they have a bad offense. Wake Forest is a really good team. I understand Clemson does have a good defense, but 3.5, Wake Forest could lose this game by a field goal and still cover. And again, I know, Clemson has all this talent, that's why they're favored, whatever. Let's just go off of what we know. If Vegas wants to give us free money, I'll take Wake Forest winning this game outright. But even if they lose by 3, you're still winning. You're still getting the cover. Try and get in on Wake Forest +3.5. Again, I think they win outright. Let's use what we've seen this season to our advantage and say, Wake Forest is just better than Clemson. I know the game's in Clemson, whatever. Give me Wake Forest +3.5 in that one. We've got Purdue -11.5 at Northwestern. It would be a real shame if the committee unranked Purdue after they lost to Ohio State, because this is still a top 25, possibly even top 20 team in college football. I will say, tread carefully on this Northwestern game. Northwestern is terrible, but they do have a hard, fighting defense with Pat Fitzgerald. The thing that I question is Purdue going to be up enough for this game? Are they going to be ready to go? It's at Northwestern. It's a noon start time, right? Aiden O'Connell completely picked apart Ohio State, even though they lost that game. Ohio State, you could say, was playing prevent. They were up 35-7 early in the second quarter. It was kind of a weird game, but 11.5 to me isn't enough. Purdue just has to score. Just give me 27. Just give me 34 points. The Northwestern offense is so bad, they're not going to be able to get that to keep it within 10 or 12. Give me Purdue minus 11.5 in that one. Number 6, New Mexico State at Kentucky. The under 59.5. So the thought process here is you would hope that Kentucky would hold New Mexico State to at the most 7 points. New Mexico State played Alabama last week. They scored 3 points. I do not think Kentucky will score into the upper 50s. So, what you're hoping with this one is I'm expecting maybe like 48-7, 51-0, something like that, where the under 59.5. It's really critical. This is one of those games where it could a garbage time touchdown could hurt if New Mexico State gets one. But if Kentucky shuts out New Mexico State or holds them to 7 points or less, I expect the under 59.5 to hit in this one. We've got Western Kentucky minus 10.5 versus FAU. I love teams that can score points. And especially when they're favored by only 10 points. FAU is not a good team. Western Kentucky, their quarterback, 42 passing touchdowns. It's crazy. I had them last week. They easily covered. They're at home. FAU, once again, not a good team, not a good defense. Western Kentucky, a lock to score 40-plus points again in this one. Love passing offense. All they got to do is cover 10.5 against a bad FAU team. This is a lock, folks. This one's too easy. Western Kentucky. Number 8, UMass at Army. The under 56. So this is another one of those games where one team's really good, the other team's terrible. UMass is the worst team in FBS, but Army's a team, they're not going to want to run up the score. They run the ball a lot, so maybe they'll eat up some more clock. Second half happens, maybe you're up 38-0. Army just sits on the ball. You're hoping Army shuts UMass out, but the under 56 seems pretty safe here because I don't think Army's going to run up the score. And, Army's going to be playing a lot of their backups. All they do is run the ball. They don't pass it, so I don't see them generating a ton of offense in the second half. Even if they do generate offense, the scoring drives are probably going to take some time. And then UMass is just horrific. I mean, they lose to Rhode Island, an FCS team a few weeks ago. They are the worst FBS team in college football. 130th out of 130th, at least according to my estimation. So give me the under in that one. Number 9, Washington at Colorado. The under 43. These are two teams that just want the season to end. Colorado last week, they were up on UCLA, and I was like, man, I wonder if they won. I went to check. They lost like 44-20. They got destroyed in the second half. But Washington just firing their head coach. Let's be honest. Both of these offenses, are they going to generate 13 points combined? I mean, I could see the final score of this game being 10-6 in Colorado. Cold, 25 degrees, maybe a few flurries. It's around a 3:30 start, I think. The vibes are crazy for this game, and they're telling me the under. This is like a 10. These two teams, they want the season to be over. Washington just fired their head coach. Colorado, terrible effort against UCLA. Terrible offenses here in the Pac-12. Number 10, Michigan, minus 14.5 at Maryland. This is a no-nonsense Michigan football team. They're really well coached. They have a really good defense. I do have a lot of respect for Maryland's passing game and Tagovailoa, who threw for 350 yards last week, albeit against one of the worst passing defenses in college football in Michigan State. But Michigan, it just feels like they know what they have to do. You got that big game against Ohio State, but you have to take care of business. You have to destroy Maryland. You're looking at a game like 41-21, something like that, a 20-point win for Michigan. It is on the road. It's a 3:30 game, I believe, in Maryland, and I have respect for Maryland's offense. They can generate points, but I have more respect for that Michigan defense, especially those pass rushers. Maryland's going to have a really tough time in that one. Moving on to number 11, Georgia Tech at Notre Dame, the under 59.5. I was shocked by this number. There's certain games with Notre Dame when you just know the under is going to hit. This is one of them. Take the under 100%. This game has 27-13 written all over it. Notre Dame, I respect them. Let's be honest, they got a break last week when Brendan Armstrong was out, and Virginia, who I guess has zero depth at the quarterback position, starts a true freshman who can't even do anything. He just runs a little wildcat. I mean, what is that? But Yeah, give me the under in this game. There's certain Notre Dame games when they play at home, you know the under is going to hit. I think this is that one of those 2:30 NBC starts, if I'm correct on that. So the under in that one, under 59.5. Number 12, Pitt, minus 13 versus Virginia. So a little risky here. If Brennan Armstrong does not play, you're feeling very good about this number. Very good. If Brendan Armstrong does play, I still believe Pitt can cover the 13.5. He's coming off that rib injury. He's probably a little rusty, and we know Kenny Pickett is having one of those magical seasons we see out of college quarterbacks every now and again. He is in the Heisman race still. It's pretty crazy what he's been able to do. Pitt still is 8-2. They're motivated. They're at home against a terrible Virginia defense. Give me them minus 13.5. Although if Brendan Armstrong doesn't play, that's going to help significantly. And I think this line is kind of speculation on if Brendan Armstrong plays. If Brendan Armstrong gets ruled out, this line is jumping to 17 at least. We saw Virginia without Brendan Armstrong last week. Their offense, you're starting a true freshman. What are you doing? Who knows, guys? Number 13, Minnesota at Indiana, the under 43.5. Oh my goodness, these two teams. You know, I saw Tanner Morgan's season stat line, 7 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I also saw that the line in this game was Minnesota minus 7. I would take that and run. Now, I don't have it on my best bets video because I think the under is a lock. I mean, maybe like this game's like 24-7 or something. These two teams, where's the offense coming from? They're not generating anything. They need it off turnovers. They need it off short fields. Even then, if they settle for some field goals, the under's probably still going to hit. It is a small number, especially for college, 43.5. There's just no offense that's going to be generated. But also, guys, by the way, that's a small number for Minnesota over an Indiana team who's been proven to be the worst team in the Big Ten, who does not have a win in conference, just 7 points. Although I understand why it's just 7 points. It's because Minnesota can't generate offense. They're starting their 4th string running back at this point. Moving on to number 14, Auburn at South Carolina, the over 44.5. I love this number. I thought the over-under on this game would be like 48 or 49. To me, this is going to be a very competitive football game, and when it's a competitive football game, both teams are scoring, which is going to help you hit the over 44.5. Auburn's kind of a weird team where they have a good defense. Sometimes they score a ton, other times they don't score anything. To me, this is a close game, maybe like 26-23, and a clear over, easy over in that. Number 15, Virginia Tech at Miami, the over 55. To me, I get the vibe on this game. Higher scoring, not really a shootout, but like maybe a 35-28, maybe 38-35. Tyler Van Dyke and that Miami offense, it's no joke. They've been phenomenal recently. Virginia Tech, they've been scoring a little bit as well. They crushed Duke, although we know how bad Duke is. But still, this game, it's at night. It's in Miami. It's in Florida. Give me the over 55. I'm getting a good vibe. 35-28, higher scoring game, competitive game. I'll take the over. And that one, UL Monroe plus 29 at LSU. There's just going to be no motivation for LSU. And I'll be honest, LSU has surprisingly played well. They almost beat Arkansas. Their defense played really well. They end up losing by field goal. We know the week before, again, their defense showing out against Alabama, even with the lame duck coaching staff. I just think this is the week that LSU really lays an egg, and I could actually see UL Monroe being very competitive in this football game. I know they're not a good team. They're an FCS team, but there's just no motivation for LSU right now at all with the lame duck coaching staff. They're at home. 29 points to me is too much. Whether it's a backdoor cover or it's actually a competitive football game, I think it'll be a competitive football game. 29 points is way too much. Number 17, here it is. Utah minus 3 versus Oregon. I've been saying this forever. I've said it 3 weeks ago. Utah is going to beat Oregon. My guess is it'll be a close game, probably until late in the third quarter where Utah pulls away. I've got Utah winning this game like 38-27, maybe 38-24. I am not a believer in Oregon's offense. They do have a good defense, but just overall, this is a team that is going to lose a game like this on the road in a hostile environment every day of the week. Every day. A lot of people are surprised. How is Utah the favorite over the number 3 team in the country? It's not surprising, folks. It really isn't. Vegas does not respect Oregon's offense. That's why Utah is favored at home. And also, Utah's a little bit underrated. They're a top 15 team in college football. At least they're playing like it recently. Think about Wisconsin and how well they're playing. Very similar teams there. Utah, a little more offense, a little less defense. Wisconsin, a little less offense, a little more defense. But they're very similar teams. Utah will win this game. I know people are surprised they're 3-point favorites. Will that line move much? Will it get bet down? Maybe it gets bet down to 2.5. That'd be really good value for Utah, but I'll take them -3 again. I think they win this game by 11 points, maybe 18 points. And then my last bet, Boise State -27 versus New Mexico. This is one of those bets, don't think, just go. That's what I say. Do not think about it. Boise State is on such a run. They would have covered last week against Wyoming. What was it, like a 70-yard touchdown with 20 seconds left? It's brutal, but Boise State, man, this is a top 20 team in college football right now. New Mexico is horrific. They might be worse than New Mexico State. I'll tell you what, New Mexico State, they were up 3-0 on Alabama, let's be honest. But, yeah, New Mexico is horrific. Boise State's at home. This is a 9 o'clock start on Saturday. To me, this is like 44-3, 44-10 maybe. Easy 27-point cover for Boise State. But guys, that is going to do it for my Week 12 edition of Best Bets for College Football. Make sure, once again, you're following me on Twitter. A link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.